County Sheriff Mike Bouchard, Republican candidate for governor, is somewhere in the state right now, barnstorming in his last few days before the primary election. Good morning to you.
Morning. How are you?
I know you were at, Shanty Creek, or you're going to be at Shanty Creek this morning. That's a pretty good place to be in the summertime.
Yes. Well, we got here late, so it was dark. Never saw anything. We're up early. I've got a speech in about 15 minutes and then back on the road. So not a lot of time to enjoy the scenery, but always great to at least pass through it.
Well, it's a statewide. You're one of the candidates who actually has experience with a statewide race, and today you'll be in Bel Air, Gaylord, Alpena, Tawas City, and Beaverton at a bowling alley, in fact. By the end of the day, you're making a northern Michigan swing like the rest of us would love to have, except, we would be playing golf and swimming and skiing and fishing and all that stuff. You're going to be working the crowd.
Yeah, you'd be doing the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But we're actually enjoying it. We're seeing a lot of people and talking to many people. And then on the other bus, the other motorhome, is my wife and Terry Lynn Land, my running mate. And they've been circumnavigating kind of the opposite side of the state. They've been through the UP, and we're actually going to cross paths briefly, and then we zigzag in opposite directions.
How useful has it been to you that you've already been in a statewide campaign, and now you're here doing it again?
Well, I think it's very useful because experience in anything is helpful, and that's been kind of one of the mainstays of my theme is running, is that I've got experience in knowing what to do in Lansing, having been a legislative leader when things worked, being the CEO of a very, very large government organization. No one else has those two skill sets. So experience on a statewide campaign gives me the same kind of ability. I have friends and supporters around the state. I know when and where to pace myself.
Yeah.
I know what to have heartburn over and other things just to let roll off your back. It's kind of a roller coaster. And as you get through those things, it's kind of like the first time, when we had our first baby, every little thing was like, oh my gosh, but then pretty soon you realize, they actually can eat food and live. All those first experiences as a parent, you're so nervous about everything. And so I've been through it, and I know what to do, and I feel like we're on the right path.
You have all the tools that if you were building a governor from the bottom up, it would seem to me that all of the elements that you have would be something that you would put into the formula. And then you add Terry Lynn Land as a running mate, a dynamic performer, a very, very accomplished in her role as Secretary of State. It's a heck of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, thank you very much. We feel very comfortable that we, more importantly, can go from campaigning immediately to governing, because we don't think there's going to be any time to lose. There are so many major issues that haven't been addressed that need to be addressed, and we have to hit the ground on the first day and go after them. And we think our team, our past experiences have served us the experience to be ready to do that.
Do you feel like you're gaining some momentum here in the last week?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we've talked about from the very beginning, we were planning to save resources for the final 2 weeks. We know that in all the polls, even the ones that we find pretty silly, the biggest number has consistently been undecided. And so, now's the time when the undecideds begin to make their decision, and we wanted to be able to communicate with them and be in front of them and answer their questions both on television and elsewhere. And so that's why we're spending quite heavily now, as you probably see on television and elsewhere.
Yeah, I have. Speaker Dillon told us yesterday that he was actually bitten by a dog once when he was door knocking on the campaign trail. What's the strangest thing that's happened to you so far in any of your statewide campaigns?
I've had dogs, but that comes from experience too. And that's also an old police experience. When you go up to knock on a door, I always put my foot against the bottom so that the dog doesn't come charging out. That if the door isn't latched, you can hold the door with your foot. So some of the approaches come from my police background. But, one of the times I was standing there when I was a younger candidate and learned that the better answer is, no, I'll just wait out here on the porch. I knocked on the door, and a young man said, oh, yeah, come on in.
Oh.
And so I stepped in, and his mom rounded the corner in a towel. She had been in the shower, and it was a, whoa, let me step out.
I knew that had to happen at some stage. Now, you're going to be at this bowling alley tonight in one of your many stops in Beaverton. Now, I remember seeing President George Herbert Walker Bush at a bowling alley once. It's a famous YouTube clip where he decided to get up there and show off his skills and kind of became attached to the ball and fell into the lane and slid across the foul line. I mean, you remember that? So be careful tonight.
I do. Well, I'm not a good bowler, so I'm not going to hit a strike every time, but I definitely won't be attached to the ball.
Okay.
The only thing that I've done with bowling pins many years ago on a regular basis is there used to be a guy that had a police training and a shooting kind of weekend, and you'd shoot bowling pins, and the drill was where you would have your duty sidearm, and they put them up on a table. And the drill was you'd have to clear the table of the bowling pins, not just knock them off, but get them off the table with your duty sidearm.
Wow.
Back in the days when I was a first street cop, that meant a revolver with, you'd have to individually reload each chamber because there was no such thing as semi-automatics.
Huh, that's impressive. That's good old American fun there, shooting bowling pins with a gun, right? Everybody.
That's the old-time sheriff there.
Well, have fun in northern Michigan and travel safely. And your website for people who want to know more?
BouchardForGovernor.com.
Simple as that, BouchardForGovernor.com. In Bel Air, Gaylord, Alpena, Tawas City, and Beaverton tonight. We have people listening in all of those cities right now, and I'm sure they'll give you a great northern Michigan welcome. And we'll talk to you again before the primary.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You bet. The candidate for governor, Oakland County Sheriff, Mike Bouchard, at 30 minutes after the hour.